guys, just Ash here. Today I'm going to be talking about Sony's E3 press conference. Now, to be completely honest with you, at 3 o'clock in the morning when it finished, I was a little bit disappointed. But now I've had a bit more time to reflect on it, I actually think Sony's conference was one of the best shows from E3 this year. So, let's get on because I've got a lot to talk about. Sony decided to focus on 4 of their exclusives, starting with The Last of Us Part 2. It started off by showing us Ellie attending a dance in a church, and the animation and rendering in this cutscene is really beautiful. We then seamlessly transitioned to a gameplay segment which seemed like it was a vertical slice designed to show off everything you can do in the game. This section showed the enemy AI communicating with one another on a first name basis, as well as knowing exactly where Ellie is and where she went. We were also shown a snippet of a crafting system used for upgrading pistols and the like, and it also highlighted the combat. Now, the combat shown here was really intense and it looks absolutely brutal. It also looks like you might be able to interact with the surroundings during combat, but like I said, as I think this was a vertical slice segment, I'm not entirely sure if it will be that fluid in the actual gameplay. Also, I hope the AI are a little bit smarter when it comes to the actual game, as they didn't always seem to have an exact grasp on Ellie, despite being able to hear her. I'm also hoping that the story itself will be as nuanced as the first, and I do have one question, Naughty Dog. Where the hell is Joel? Ghost of Tsushima was the next game to receive a deep dive. I really enjoyed the stylistic choices that have been made for this game. I love the art style and the rendering, it's all very pretty. The presentation showed us a bit of the game world via a mini tour led by the main character. And again, the design in this world is stunning and the music that played over this section was absolutely beautiful. We also saw a bit of the combat from the game. To me, it looked a little bit complicated and like it might be more strategic or maybe counter and parry based. However, it is really very fluid and it is animated stunningly. Plus, it looks like we will have bloodshed, but it's not too over the top and is actually in keeping with the style of the game. Ghost of Tsushima is set during the Mongol invasion, but I am wondering if it will be super grounded in reality or if there will be more mythological elements to it. From what we've seen at Sony's show, it definitely seems like it is veering more towards the super grounded side, but you never know. Death Stranding was next, and despite being featured for almost 10 minutes, I still know absolutely nothing about this game. A direct quote from the notes that I took on this presentation says, "I have no idea what is going on, but it looks awesome." It's very beautifully detailed and realistic looking. And we did see a little bit of gameplay, which was basically Norman Reedus' character wandering around the game world, and it felt like it was designed to show off how absolutely stunning the environments are. We also saw a few women feature in the trailer, which is the first time that has happened for this game. Now, the ladies that were featured were definitely presented in a more spiritual or magical kind of way, especially when compared to the grounded reality of everything else, so I do feel like that will play into the plot of the game a little bit. I do have a theory about the story, which is basically that all the women were wiped out during some tragic event, possibly caused by the Timefall, in order to keep the human population going. But this is Kojima, so I am probably wrong. Insomniac Games' Spider-Man was the last game we got a look at, and to be honest with you, I was a little bit underwhelmed from this presentation. It was obviously designed for comic book fans and fans of Spider-Man, as it did show off a lot of Spidey's rogues gallery, including Rhino, Scorpion and the Vulture, so maybe we'll get Dr. Octopus in there as well. Unfortunately, the combat that was shown looks a little bit too similar to the Batman Arkham series for me. I didn't enjoy the combat in those games, so if it is quite similar, I probably won't enjoy the combat in Spider-Man either. And for me, this section really lacked a lot of the tension and adrenaline that came with the first trailer we were shown, and kind of ended Sony's presentation on a bit of a weak note. Now, none of these game trailers featured any sort of release date, even Spider-Man, which we already know the release date for. I think this was a very good decision by Sony to allow the trailers to talk for themselves and to not be buried under the hype of when they are being released. Personally, I was expecting a little bit of a talk with the developers after each game was shown, but now I think about it, I'm actually quite glad we didn't get that, as again, it allowed the games to really talk for themselves and for the focus to be on Sony's exclusives. I don't think any of the first 3 games will be released within the next year, but Sony do have plenty of other events where they could announce release dates, so I'm not 100% sure on that either. Sony did still manage to surprise us though by having sections between the actual presentations that did announce new games. These included a VR game from Software, Neo 2 from Team Ninja, and Trover Saves the Universe from Rick and Morty creator Justin Roiland. We also saw Kingdom Hearts again, which showed off the Pirates of the Caribbean world this time. And we are also getting a Kingdom Hearts limited edition PlayStation 4 Pro. Finally, Leon's back in the Resident Evil 2 remake, which looks amazing, and will be releasing on January 25th next year. And that is it for Sony's conference. It certainly was an odd one, but it was very impactful, and I'm glad Sony decided to focus on their exclusives rather than showing off lots of different games. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and as always, pour yourself a nice cup of tea and join me soon for more E3.